Alright, I don't know how long that episode was, but I'll probably just put both of the parts in. This is part 2 of that episode. Whoa, Makoto and Kyoko showed up together. Where the heck have you two been? You just would disappear without a word. We're investigating, of course. How could you not figure that out by this point? Makoto's range high enough for you guys to go off together? Just the two of you? Oh, are you jealous?
Hey.
Or are you making up some kind of creepy fantasy for yourself?
What?
Stop talking about yourself. He'll be here any second. Any second? He'll show up at any time. I'd imagine it would happen to me immediately to stop and prepare myself. But we stood there for 5 whole minutes. For something weird to happen. And finally it became 10.
Why?
What's going on? Why hasn't Makoto shown up yet?
Could it be?
Maybe he died again? What should we do? Should we keep waiting here, or what?
What?
Jesus! Did I scare you?
Come on.
I demand explanation. Why did you waste my time to make me wait like that? What? I made you wait? You got all backwards. You're the ones making me wait. Huh?
In other words,
Only for everyone to arrive so we can start till everyone's here. We can't... I'm waiting for everyone to arrive. We can't start until everyone's here, can we? What are you talking about? Everyone is here. We've been waiting for you. Sorry, but you're wrong. I've been waiting for 10 minutes now, so it's okay if I punish the one making us all wait, right? If rearrange is a violation of the rules, I'll arrange a punishment right now. If it's me you're waiting for, I'm here. When I heard that voice, we spun around and looked.
hey,
I'm here. And no rule has been broken. Kyoko! Kyoko, you're still alive. No! That's a ghost! Stop talking. Look, want to fight? Do it at the last trial. You need to save some fun for later, right?
What?
But is it okay that there's no particular penalty for being late?
is that right?
I'm in here just fine. What relation did I violate? Am I wrong? You're so selfish, so spoiled. You're right. There's no penalty officially, but I bet sooner or later you'll be sooner or later. No, I'll be sure you're sorry. I'll be sure you're sorry later. Anyway, how's your butts on the elevator? I'll be just one step ahead of you. Yeah. When Monkey was gone, we all rushed up to Kyoko. Kyoko? So you really didn't die.
Indeed.
Of course I didn't die. I'm glad you're okay. Perhaps it's not necessarily a good thing that's not necessarily a good thing for us. Huh? He's right. No, deal. Now we have to deal with a ghost. I told you to stop talking.
Let's go.
Come on, just go. Whatever you need to discuss, we can do it during the last trial. Without a word, even a word, yeah, without even looking back directly at Kyoko and Byakuya, stepped onto the elevator. Master, wait for me. Good call. Who knows what happens if you take too long?
But...
I'll be happy when this is all over. After another, we piled on the elevator, but I couldn't help it myself. I had to touch Kyoko before the trial started. So before we get started, I have to ask you, where have you been this whole time? Where have you been this whole time? You used that key to go somewhere, didn't you? So,
Correct.
I went to investigate the second floor dorms. The second floor?
That's right.
There aren't any monitors or cameras there, so I was able to avoid Monokuma completely. Of course, I also missed the announcement because of that. I had no idea that a body had been discovered. Then when did you find out?
So...
Just now, because my shirts came down here just in time for the class trial announcement. It took some time to get over the I took some time to get over the crime scene. To go over the crime scene. First, then I can't go any. First, I can't go to the trial completely uninformed. Can I? So that's why you're late.
However...
I'm sorry to keep you all waiting. But if you were on the second floor dorms, then that's what that key you found goes to?
Wrong.
Actually, to be precise, not quite.
In other words...
I use Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the school. What? Kyoko's accounted to add truth bullets. One last truth bullet.
Just a second!
Hey, what are you two doing? Hurry before we get in trouble with Monokuma.
Makoto.
We can go over all the details after we go through the class trial. Okay, Makoto? Right now, I just want to focus on surviving our current situation.
It would seem...
Because this is probably the single most crucial moment for me so far. Really far from me. For her? That's strange when you put it that way. The way you put it. Class trial is important to everyone, right? So why would she say it's a crucial moment for her?
Goodbye.
Well, if that's all. Seemingly unconcerned, Kyoko made her way to the elevator. No sort of thinking what she said, right? Alright, let us go. The last one left, I stepped off onto the elevator. And the door slid shut. Aye, there's so few of us right now. This time the clunking was louder than ever. It hurt my ears. And then the dread began to consume me once again. I can't imagine even ever getting used to the mental pressure that comes with preparing for an execution. In that dusky darkness, nobody said a word. We just stood there, silent and still. After a miserable period of time, the doors opened without warning. The dazzling light penetrated the depths of our eyes. But it wasn't the illuminating light of hope. It was the blinding light of despair.
I can't wait! I can't wait!
I wait for this. I feel like it's been forever since we got together like this. The time for pointless jokes and jabs has passed.
Thrills!
Let's get on with the show! And so the curtain opened for the 5th time. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal. A deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith. A deadly last trial. Alright, so I'm going to save that just in case it crashes. Let's set our skill. Let's get that new extra skill that we have. Let me see here. Allows you to lock onto 2 statements at once. Effective during both. Ooh, okay. That's going to help out a lot. I'm equipping that. I only got 3 abilities right now. Finish preparations. Alright, trial, all rise!
Let's begin. If you can, I'll... Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost!
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
What the fuck, hero?
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
I got it!
Kyoko's
I'm
gloves.
talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
There's no other corpse as Kyoko. If I can't prove that, I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to. We're gonna get stuck here, and the case won't move forward. So I don't have any choice but to. I don't know which truth bullet is. I know which it is. I know which one it is.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
Because that corpse is absolutely
Kyoko.
I missed it. Okay.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
That Kyoko. Okay, then prove
The
it.
dead body
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah.
She must have been wearing gloves.
That's not it. Okay. What's the other one then? I'm pretty sure it's tattoo on the right hand.
Okay, then prove
The
it.
dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves.
Well, yeah.
Because that corpse is... This entire discussion is idiotic.
That Kyoko. Okay, then prove
The
it.
dead body
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing
Well, yeah.
Because that corpse is... This entire discussion is idiotic.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves.
Well, yeah.
She must have been wearing gloves.
No, that's wrong.
Fake nails. I was completely wrong. Alright.
No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
I need to put my socks on. My feet are freezing. If I can find a sock. Oh, here it is. This took a little bit longer to record than expected. But as I said, I'll probably I'm just going to do the entire class trial and just get it over with. Then we're going to start chapter 6 in the next episode. So yeah.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we have to identify the victim's body. Everything starts from there. Tattoo. Now the tattoo one is it.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
Kyoko really? Then who died?
There's gotta be... I don't think so. The face was scorched, and there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, it's wrong. There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Cruel and unusual death? This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
No.
Seriously? They really did something that humiliating?
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belongs to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
Now I understand. The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. And that means...
That means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf. Which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a coup-lax trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
And who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed. Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was the same as us, just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me, and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
Exactly so.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
Alright. I know I didn't read that. I probably should have. Well, I already know what it is, so.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time. We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
Shoot!
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night.
No, that's wrong! Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on! I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you better tell us why! I admit nothing. No! No! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I'm right about this. I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I'm right about this. I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. How can you say it wasn't the sprinkler?
That sucks.
I refuse to give up yet.
Yeah.
I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I'm right about this. I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I'm right about this. I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? How can you say it wasn't
This should prove it. Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't work.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Is the only without an alibi? Who should go kill this? I refuse to believe it. Kyoko's murdered someone? That's...
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
Yeah.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial. Something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
What are you doing? What are you doing,
The
Kyoko?
sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
Something, something. Be the tarp.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want me to look like the killer? No, I can't think about it right now. That tarp. But you as Kyoko said, the tarp must have been must have touched the body, right? The body?
Wait, something's not right.
And what might that be?
I can worry about Kyoko's motives. If I don't have something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to repeat what Kyoko said.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
No, that's wrong. Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it...
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Huh? What was it? Camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Oh, the chickens!
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken? And then, man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
Switch falls back on me again? But why? Why is Yuko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Disguised body has been added to Truth Bullets section of your handbook.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
It's one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
I don't want it anyway. So what do we do? What'd you have to do, Makoto? Huh? Me?
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah,
Then why did you hide that fact?
it's not that I hid it. It's just...
I couldn't be sure what happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious. Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes...
Well,
Getting stabbed is what killed me.
No, it's wrong. Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
lies. We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. Totally forgot about that.
Then the knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion.
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural. Because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
Determine ultimately what killed the victim. I need to concentrate.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't me because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it.
There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
That's wrong.
Shoot!
Then, shall we continue the debate?
The victim's fatal
The explosion didn't kill
Well, yeah.
and it wasn't me.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it.
There was evidence.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her
Entire body.
Then, shall we continue
The debate.
The victim's
Fatal injury has yet to be determined.
correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
And it wasn't me because of the knife. And then there's only...
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it.
There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Oh, I don't remember which one it is.
then shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't me. And then
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of...
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her
Then shall we continue the
debate.
The victim's
Fatal injury has yet.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, that was right. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh, yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon? The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Okay then.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
Titanium arrows.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something, and that's what killed him. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Because in the Monaco, it said the weapon must have been about as... It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Mask, you have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Because in the it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
No, it's wrong. You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
There's only going to go to the dojo, which is the key.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just, there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
Does that mean she knew I was being attacked? And she came to my rescue? Could that be when... Which means that Kyoko, she killed someone for me.
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
What? Yakuya should know better than anyone? What does that mean? With lock key, Yakuya's account.
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Yakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Yakuya should know why Kyoko didn't do it. Why him?
Those words you just spoke,
What do you... Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Yakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
there's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my... and then left the locker key in my own room, correct?
Yes, I did. I don't know if I've absorbed
Those words
something.
you just spoke,
Exactly. I'm not the... You should understand that more than anyone here.
Yakuya,
Master would never hide...
there's proof
that you aren't the culprit.
those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said.
Can't
I'm
absorb
not the
something.
killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Yakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
That's alright.
Those words you just spoke,
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that...
Yakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide...
there's proof that you
Aren't the culprit.
Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo and then left the locker key in my own room, correct?
Oh, I failed. I can't figure out what to do.
I refuse to give up yet!
Alright, I'm gonna have to figure this out.
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what... I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than...
Yakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from...
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated that... You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo and then left the lock, but... Could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke,
Exactly. I'm not the killer.
No, that's not it. Okay. Well, that's kind of...
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly. I'm not the killer.
You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
You stated a theory earlier.
You said I hid and then left.
The locker key in my own room. Correct.
No, that's not it. What the hell? What is it? I don't remember. It's been forever.
Those words you just...
Exactly. I'm not the killer.
You should understand that more than anyone here.
Those words you just spoke.
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
That's... No, I don't get it. I just learned
Those
something.
words you just spoke.
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something from me.
there's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that
I'm gonna try
You
this
stated the
one.
theory. You said I hid the evidence of my...
and then left the locker key in my own room. Correct?
But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke.
Exactly. I'm not the... You should understand.
Byakuya, what are you...
Master would never hide...
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
That's it. Okay.
No, that's wrong.
I kept doing the wrong one.
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room
Huh? Why not?
because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room,
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
it would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
No, that's not actually true. There's one clear contradiction in Kyoko's. What Kyoko just told us. An obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try to save herself with such a desperate lie? Does she really feel threatened? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? What is there to mean with what Kyoko said earlier? You vote me off and I die here. The mystery of the sworn been hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is the trap that this is the trap that the mastermind had played for us. The mastermind's trap? The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko? But if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? Should I? The mastermind's trap? The victim was Mukuro and Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie? I'm the only one who knows that it's a lie. I'm the one who can expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The mastermind's trap. If you're trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? What do I do? Decide right here, right now, whether or not to expose Kyoko's lie. I might as well show it off.
There was a lie hidden within Kyoko's statement just now.
A lie?
Isn't that right, Kyoko?
You said it. The burden of proof is on you. So let's...
So it's definitely lying, and that must be because there's some deeper truth that was hidden.
I didn't have the key to my room because I'd given it to Byakuya. There's no doubt about that, right?
You are correct.
So I couldn't possibly have gotten into my room.
Then, when we searched Kyoko's room, how else could the key have gotten there?
Someone other than me must have put it there.
That's the only explanation.
I didn't have the key because I'd given it to Byakuya. There's no doubt about that.
You are correct.
So I couldn't possibly have gotten into my room.
No, it's wrong. No, Kyoko could have gotten into her room. You said so yourself, didn't you, Kyoko?
Actually, for science, not quite. I used Monikuma's special secret tool which could open any lock in the school. What?
Monokuma's secret tool?
Kyoko stole it from the headmaster's room. It lets you get into any room in the school, which means she could have used it to get into her own room.
Then I guess that's it.
You're giving up just like that? You admit to killing...
No, I'm simply recognizing that I lost.
What are you talking about?
Like I said, this was a trap, and I wasn't able to escape it. So I lost. That's all this means.
Then, are you saying you really didn't... Kyoko, you really aren't the killer?
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
I'm sorry to say, but your time is up! All done, all finished. The class trial is all over.
But that's ridiculous! Since when is there any...
It's because you were late, so the trial started late and time ran out. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you. But I guess we already know who the blackened is, don't we?
Good job. You got it right. Brilliantly right. You got it right. So Kyoko really is the killer, but something strange is going on here. There's something wrong with this whole class trial. Kyoko.
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment. Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
Alright. After school lesson. And that was the, just so you guys know, that was the bad ending. And that's how the class trial we saw came to an end. We still had to wonder if whether Kyoko was actually innocent or Regardless, the truth was lost forever, even for me. I just stopped thinking about it. That was the end of Mukuro's class trial. And in the end, it would be proven in our last class trial. Once the case was over, there was never a single murder at Host Week Academy ever again. We obtained peace in exchange for the lives of all the others. Peace, but only inside the school. Peace only for us. That was the only hope we had. Hope? Hope? Is this hope?
No! This isn't right!
Makoto, why are you staring off into space? Don't you have a rebuttal for Kyoko's claim?
Her claim? That's right, I have to. Do I expose the lie or not? If you suspend all your time avoiding danger, yeah, whatever. It's the same thing again. She's not wrong. I have to think about this very carefully. What do I do? I'm sorry here now or not, and we're just gonna let it go this time. Made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret. Something to do with the Mastermind's trap that Kyoko mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room. That it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
What? It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead, and then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the Mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
Yeah, that's actually what you're supposed to do. You're actually supposed to ignore it. So... I got some more. You got some more things for the dog outside. Great.
Now, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Start with the dog in the background. You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's all your fault. You're wrong. You gotta be wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it right. No, I know that's not true. That doesn't make any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey.
It makes perfect sense.
Shing.
It's the same as always. It's just like the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills, chills, kills.
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment. Wait, why do I... Kyoko?
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time.
And it's the same punishment, but there's an alternate thing to it. Huh? What's this? What's going on? Hey, what's that? Yeah, it had to be.
This is...
Alter Ego. Alter Ego? Is this some stupid virus on that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell! I don't believe this.
It would seem...
It seems that you finally made a miscalculation. Now that you miscalculated. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words...
Our saying is, you should have underestimated us. Huh. Why are you talking like you've already won? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch, an inch. The supervirus is gone now, and so is Makoto. I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again. So wait, the garbage pit is in a way. Wait, that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bringing despair to the entire world. Is he gone? Hey, Kyoko, what is the meaning of this? Just what the hell is going on?
Calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones that he trapped this time. Huh?
In other words...
Now, the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you say?
What are you talking about?
So...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. Alright! And Massive High School Tower is over. Okay, this is just going to be the same thing. I'm just going to skip this whole part because it's the same thing. What? Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My head felt heavy. Then it would be weird for me to knock up in the middle of some part of class order, but what was I doing asleep just now? It wasn't any classroom I've ever seen before. What the heck is going on? Finally, I could feel my mind and body start to come back together, and then I was awake. Or was it this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I can tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with a barren hint of light seeping in. Trash was piling up across the area. This is gonna be a pretty long episode because I'm not gonna be able to save until. Oh no, I could save once. Yeah, never mind. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. Heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in this wasted until I died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remember all too well what happened. Alter Ego saved me. He used up the last bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friends. And with my pursuit of survival, struggling for a way out of here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do this part over. Rattle, rattle. It's locked. Rattle, rattle. No matter how many times I push to kick it, it didn't budge. Getting out here isn't gonna be easy. Well, we're not getting out here anytime soon. I decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I search for some water. How can we be sure what liquids I can drink, and which are all around bad ideas? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked on all sides. That's not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm still alive, I'll never give up. After making that prediction, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was the only way to preserve what little strength I had left, not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, the fall from the sky wasn't a sign, not exactly. A chunk. Huh? What the? A strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. It was a watch of a pile of garbage jostled, former odd shape. Something fell down there. I am going to talk to Kyoko, because she is the one who came down here. You don't know yet, but yeah, I'm going to talk to her, get that out of the way, and then I'll save it and start off the next episode after that. Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I scratched my hand out and what it was.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash? Rude. Before she emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
It smells awful.
Kyoko?
Indeed.
Feel like you're doing better than I expected? What are you doing here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick sharp shake and take rid of the trash and faced me again.
Hey.
First, I have something for you. Go ahead. We can talk after once you've finished. Eat. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water that she was all holding out for me. Seconds, it was in my mouth, making its way towards my stomach. That really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So, you still haven't given up then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at.
Hmm?
Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. Alright, so I'll talk to her again. But Kyoko, why'd you come rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt. Or, no, a tone. A tone?
You...
During the last trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So, you knew I knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I did abandon you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and all I could bring to myself was and I could bring myself to do the same for you.
However,
Couldn't bring myself to the same for you. But listen, I'm not trying to make excuses, but there was a reason I had to survive, no matter what the cost. Why'd you have to survive?
it's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I had to survive
In other words...
is so I could do what I can. Is so that I can do what I came to do at this school. What? I made my mind. I got to come to Hope Peak Academy for one very important reason. So you have a reason for coming to Hope Peak?
Indeed.
That's right. At least I did once. Once? Until recently, I had forgotten what it was. We forgot, but that's... I have no memory of what my purpose was. No memory? That's impossible. Amnesia? Then it's really true you lost your memory.
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at the school? At this school? The first thing. You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and then when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point, my memory was gone. At that time, I've forgotten. I couldn't remember why I had come to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But, why would you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine that it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they do that? It's the only one reason I can come up with. Because my purpose and my ability. Somehow, they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. The mastermind just stole them from you?
However...
And it can also mean somehow my memory may be connected to the mystery of this school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That is why I have been investigating things by myself this whole time. But what you're saying is true. Why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that, and we all worked together, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always a chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make it too big of a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind is one of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memories by herself.
However...
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because, among everyone else, you're the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but I see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just a dream. It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think it's just her personality. You say your reasons for doing all that stuff based on your notes. How did it turn out like that you were able to remember anything?
So...
I think there's a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and ability. You mentioned your ability. Ability was what everyone should have known from me for. The ultimate detective! She's the ultimate detective! The ultimate detective.
Correct.
And the reason why I came to Hosting Academy was there was someone I had to find here in the school. You had to find someone? Who?
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Hosting Academy. The headmaster? Why'd you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. What?
In other words...
I separated from him as a child, and it turns out he became the headmaster of Hosting Academy. Because Dad is the Hosting headmaster? And that explains when Alter Ego told us how you thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way. Huh? No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
No matter what?
No matter what it costs.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on? My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However...
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear, so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that. But I didn't say that to protect him. I only said that said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then what did you see in there?
So...
The room had been ransacked and several shelves were a mess. The drawers were dumped all over the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything had been there. You're the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And I can confirm my suspicion. I decided to investigate the second floor dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. Is this some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's the layout of the entire Hope's Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with the Mukuro's profile and the key. And that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faucality uses. Some stuff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured out that the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assume that because if that were true, the room would likely have had hold more clues. So when I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remember my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went to see the headmaster? So you went there to see the headmaster? Really did have a private room there?
However,
Well, once I got there, I noticed that the second floor door. I noticed that on the second floor dorms didn't have any cameras on the monitors. So what was it like? That part of the school I mean, it's hard to describe. All I could say is, the moment I saw it, I realized whatever was going on in the school is more horrific than I ever imagined. What do you mean?
so...
I can't explain. You need to see for yourself. And I'm sure you'll get that chance soon enough. That sounds most important on this. Alright! Well, we are going to end it there. So thank you all for watching this episode of Let's Play Danganronpa Replay Through. In the next episode, we'll talk to Kyoko again. And see what's next on our list. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, I want to help this channel grow. Subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I'm Red 100, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.